जिसका तेरे बिन ना कोई आस।
The house was silent, not peaceful, silent in that cruel, crushing way that follows unspoken news, the kind of silence that wraps around your throat and refuses to let go. Jungkook stood in the living room like he had forgotten how to breathe. His coat was still on, his shoes still wet from the rain, his eyes red, not from crying but from holding back tears too long. And then he finally collapsed. Not fainted, just his knees gave out. Like the ground had vanished beneath him, he dropped to the floor, hands shaking, gasping like a child. His wife, his love, his life, rushed to his side immediately, already forgetting the sharp sting pulsing behind her own eyes. "Cool," she whispered, gathering him into her arms. Jungkook clung to her like a drowning man, his breath ragged, face buried into In's chest. He whispered, his voice cracking like glass. "You can't leave me. You promised. You said forever." In stroked his hair, running trembling fingers down Jungkook's back. "I'm here. I'm right here." "But they said you'll..." He choked, pulling back just enough to look at her. "They said there's nothing they can do. And I don't know how to live without you. I don't want to live without you." Tears finally fell, not from In, but from Jungkook, who never cried in front of anyone. But now he was shattered. In's own throat ached. Her head spun. But she couldn't fall apart. Not now. Not when her husband needed her to be stronger than ever. "I'm still here, love," she whispered, pressing their foreheads together. "I'm still breathin'. I still wake up beside you. Don't you mourn me for I'm gone." Jungkook shook his head oh so violently. "I can't do this. I just can't. I can't watch you disappear day by day and just keep going. I'd rather die with you. I would." Her voice was firm now, though tears filled her eyes. "You don't get to give up on me, you hear?" She pulled Jungkook tighter, guiding his head to rest against her shoulder, where he belonged. "You're my home, my heart, my everything. But right now, I need you to hold me together. I need you to live each day like we still have time. Please, love. I'm not ready to leave either." Jungkook wrapped both arms around Yeon's waist so tightly, as if letting go meant he'd fall into darkness. His body trembled in Yeon's hold. He cried, "I love you so much it hurts." She kissed his forehead, his temple, his wet cheeks. "I know, baby. I know. That love, it's what's keeping me alive right now." The clock ticked. The wind howled outside the windows. And inside, on the living room floor, two souls clung to each other like they could defy death with just their love. Because even if In's days were numbered, Jungkook was determined to fill each one with forever. The sun had long since set, but the lights stayed off. The room was dim, lit only by the soft golden glow of a bedside lamp. Jungkook sat on the floor, leaning against the bed, knees pulled up, head resting in his hands. He looked like he was unraveling, oh so silently, piece by piece. I watched him from the bed, small, pale, but eyes still full of fire. The silence stretched until I finally broke it, my voice barely more than a whisper. "Cool." Jungkook turned, eyes tired, red from hidden tears. He crawled up beside me slowly, taking my hand like it was glass. "I need to ask you something," I said. Jungkook gently took my hand, placing a kiss on my fingers. "You can ask anything, love. I know you have given me everything," I said, softly smiling at him. "But it's about us. What comes after me, and I'm unsure you'll agree." Jungkook froze. His lips hovered over my skin. His breathing stopped, as he heard my next words. I want to have your baby. The words were clear, calm, but carried a storm inside them. Jungkook sat up straight, his entire body tense. No. No. Absolutely not. I can't. I reached for him, cupping Jungkook's cheek. Listen to me, please, first. Jungkook's voice cracked. Your body, your heart's already struggling. Pregnancy will only. I'm dying either way, I said gently. But if I can leave something behind, a part of me, for you to hold when I'm not here, and I'll go in peace. Tears gathered in Jungkook's eyes. I can't let you do this for me. I don't want a baby, I want you. And I want to make sure you don't destroy yourself after I'm gone. Her words were firm now, steady. Her hand slid to Jungkook's chest, over his heart. I know you, Koo. The way you fell apart just hearing the news. What do you think will happen when I'm gone? Jungkook couldn't respond. His throat tightened painfully. In's lips trembled, but she kept going. I want you to live, Jungkook. To love again. But if you can't, then let our baby give you a reason to stay. To breathe. To wake up. Please. A long silence. Then Jungkook pulled In into his lap, arms wrapped tightly around her waist, head buried into her neck. I hate this, he whispered. I hate this so much. I know, she replied, running her fingers through Jungkook's hair, voice breaking. Later that night. Not out of lust, but out of something sacred. Something that felt like the sky, folded itself around them, just to protect the moment. Jungkook held her like porcelain. In kissed him, like time would stop if she just loved him hard enough. And in the days that followed, she conceived. Weeks later, In walked in, holding the test in her hand, a trembling smile on her face. Her eyes were glassy, but glowing. We did it, she whispered. Jungkook just stared at her, lips parted, body frozen. Unpregnant, Koo. Still, Jungkook couldn't speak, not until In rocked the room and gently climbed into his lap, just like before. She took his hand, guiding it to her stomach. Our baby, she whispered. At first, Jungkook didn't react. He just stared at her hand on In's body, like he couldn't process what it meant. Because inside, every piece of him was breaking apart, yet he wanted to appear strong. For his wife who was smiling, looking at him with expectations for the new profound happiness. But a tear fell, and he let out the softest, most broken laugh. Looking at the results, a beautiful smile formed on In's face. Jungkook hadn't seen it in weeks. That real smile. The one that only came when her heart couldn't help itself. Even in the midst of the storm, Jungkook's chest warmed, seeing her wife happy after what feels like years. You're smiling, he said, brushing her nose against In's cheek. I missed this. So he was happy because he able to see In happy again. Jungkook pulled her closer, forehead against his temple, holding her like he'd never let go again. I'll protect this smile, he vowed. I swear, In, even if the world ends, I'll protect it. And Yin leaned into him, their hands over the tiny life blooming inside her, a fragile piece of forever carved from two souls who loved too deeply for words. It was late afternoon. The light through the curtains was soft and golden, brushing Yin's pale skin like it knew it wouldn't have many chances left. She sat on the edge of the bed, legs tucked under a soft blanket, holding a small voice recorder in her hand. Her other hand rested on her small, still-growing belly. The baby, their baby, was just starting to flutter. Okay, she whispered into the recorder, smiling faintly. Day 13. The red light blinked to life. Hi, little one, it's your mama. I want to leave messages for you, because I might not be there when you'll be seeing this video, but I want you to know that Mama loves you a lot, and your Appa, he's the softest person in the world. A faint chuckle. She pressed her fingers to her lips. Her eyes were tired, her body even more so. But her voice, still full of love. Today I want to tell you about how much I love. Your Appa, I mean. He's brave. So brave it hurts. But when he's scared, he hides. He doesn't let people see. Except me. I see him. She paused, blinking away tears. But when I'm gone, I want you to be the reason he doesn't hide anymore. Outside the room, Jungkook stood pressed against the wall, his hand clamped over his mouth. He had heard the recording by accident, had come in to bring in tea, only to see the recorder blinking. He stepped back without a word, hiding behind a door. Now, he was listening to the voice of the woman who was dying, and still thinking only about him. Inside, Yin continued softly. He'll probably cry alone. He'll probably stay up at night thinking he could have saved me. But please, baby, hug him when he does. Appa needs you more than anything. The recorder clicked off. A moment later, the door opened. Yin found Jungkook sitting on the floor, face buried in his arms, sobbing silently. His shoulders shook violently, his knuckles white from clenching his own shirt. No longer can pretend to be strong, witnessing life slowly draining from his wife's, and he couldn't do anything. Koo. She dropped to her knees beside him. He looked up, and that face, wrecked, crushed, like he'd been holding the sky on his shoulders, and someone finally let it fall. You're already saying goodbye, he whispered, eyes swollen and broken. And I don't know how to live with that. Yin reached out and pulled him into her arms, despite her own fragile strength. I'm not gone yet, she whispered, holding her husband's face. And even when I am, I'm still here, in our baby, in your breath, in every step forward you take. Jungkook broke down again, this time letting Yin hold him. He curled into her like a child, his arms wrapped around Yin's belly, tears soaking her dress. And Yin just stroked his hair, voice trembling with love. Our baby will know your heart, just like I did, and they'll know mine, because of you. That night, Jungkook sat beside Yin while she slept, gently rubbing her stomach in slow circles. His other hand held the recorder. He pressed play. Yin's soft voice filled the quiet room again. And Jungkook cried. But this time, he smiled through the tears. Because In had left her love behind. In sound, in heartbeat, in memory, and in the tiny life that still hadn't stepped into this world. It was raining outside. Not heavy, no storm. Just soft. The kind of rain that feels like the sky is mourning something it can't name. Inside the dim bedroom, the world had gone still. In lay in bed, bundled under soft white blankets, her hair gently brushed back. Her lips were pale. Her breathing was slow, thin, like the wind could blow it away if it tried too hard. The room smelled like lilies, fresh from the windowsill. A lullaby played faintly from the baby monitor across the room. And in the corner, in a small bassinet, slept a tiny bundle, wrapped in soft gray cloth, their baby, already a few days old, safe, warm, and loved. Jungkook sat beside the bed, holding In's hand in both of his. He hadn't moved for hours. His eyes were locked on In's chest, counting every rise and fall like it was the last. And then In stirred. Love. He leaned in, cupping her face gently. She blinked slowly, her gaze unfocused at first. But when it landed on him, she smiled. Weak, trembling, but it was there. That smile that had once stopped time. Still here, she whispered, barely audible. Always, he choked, brushing her thumb over Yin's lips. Always. In lifted a shaking hand, letting it rest over Jungkook's heart. Her touch was cool, lighter than air. Promise me, her lips trembled. Promise me you'll live, that you'll tell them about us, about the songs, the stupid burnt rice, the way you snored when you're sick. Jungkook let out a watery laugh, shaking his head as more tears poured. I promise. I swear. Yoon exhaled softly. Good. I'm tired now, Koo. No, no, stay with me, he begged, gently pulling her closer, slipping into the bed beside her. He wrapped both arms around Yoon's fragile body, holding her tightly against his chest. I'm scared, she whispered, barely a breath now. I've got you, he said through sobs. I've got you, baby. You're safe. I'm right here. Their bodies pressed together, their foreheads touching. And then, Yoon smiled one last time. It wasn't big, it wasn't loud, it was peaceful. She looked into Jungkook's eyes as if she could see forever. And then, with the softest breath, she was gone, just like that. Her body stilled, her hand slipped from Jungkook's chest. The warmth began to fade from her skin. And Jungkook broke. Yeon dash, he gasped, shaking her gently. No, he gasped. Please, don't. He kissed her lips, her cheeks, her cold fingers. He screamed silently into In's chest, as if her voice had cracked into pieces inside his throat. He wrapped his arms around his wife tighter, as if love could somehow pull her back. But In was gone, and the silence left behind was deafening. For a moment, Jungkook just held In's body in his arms, crying into her neck, whispering every I love you. He never wanted to say his goodbye. Across the room, the BB stirred. Their daughter. A small breath erupted to loud crying, as if the newborn can also sense the loss of her mother. Eventually, Jungkook looked up, eyes swollen, face soaked, heart in ruins, not wanting to let go his wife. But he rose for their baby who was asking for the attention. He walked to the crib, still trembling, still shattered, and lifted their baby in his arms. Holding them to his chest, he kissed the baby's forehead. And like miracle, she calmed down, falling into sleep again, finding the warmth against her father. And in that moment, something inside Jungkook clicked. He would mourn, he would ache, but he would carry In his every breath. Because In didn't die. She simply lived on, in the tiny heartbeat sleeping against Jungkook's chest.